identity. By the way, that reward is still on, folks. From the description you gave, it sounds like the standard garbage from the debunkers of the UFO community, so that narrows it to about a dozen or so well-known bozos. I couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks again, and I'll soon be sending you a special report of secret societies around my locality. But for now, did you know that last year the U.S. Coast Guard seized a vessel, a yacht, from a Noriega henchman and owned by Noriega himself? The name of the alleged drug smuggling vessel was the Krill, K-R-I-L-L. Does that ring a bell? And this is from Belton, Missouri. Man by the name of S. Thank you, S. And what do we got next here? Another one to WWCR. Hello, I wish to thank you and your radio station for broadcasting William Cooper's Hour of the Time. I find the program very enlightening, informative, and truthful. Many of my fellow employees have purchased shortwave radios just to be able to listen to Bill Cooper and WWCR. We just wish Mr. Cooper could be on more than once a week. WWCR always comes in 5, 9, and 20 here in Florida. Thank you, Robert, and that's from Florida. Okay, here's another letter. Thank you, Robert. Dear Bill, congratulations on the WWCR contract. You're an all-out, let me see here. Let me start over. Dear Bill, congratulations on the WWCR contract. You're an all-or-nothing guy with God on your side. You can't lose. But step warily with these Radio Free America boys. They are the descendants of the old-line anti-communist, fascist-oriented crowd used by the fledgling CIA in the 40s to legitimize clandestine and covert anti-communist action. An awesome book to read on the complex subject is called, and this is the title, folks, Blowback, about the CIA's actual recruitment of thousands of ex-Nazis and their subsequent illegal immigration en masse. The article about the first conflict in Somalia is enclosed. I'm going to read that in a minute. Open your eyes. The most important point of my letter is this. Bring loyal advertisers to WWCR and you become priceless. Ideas for advertisers, any survivalist-oriented organization, the NRA, Soldier of Fortune magazine, Security Project discounters, Security Product discounters, Backwoods Home magazine, Mother Earth News, High Times, anybody. Well, folks, Backwoods Home magazine is going to sponsor one program a month. I cannot ever be sponsored by the NRA simply because if you've been listening to this program, you know, folks, if you join the NRA, you have registered your guns, and I am against gun registration in any form. In fact, I believe that's why the NRA was originally formed, was to get Americans who traditionally would never consent to register their guns to put their name and address in a data bank of membership for the NRA. And you notice now that the stuff they send out is not about the constitutional issue. It's not about owning guns to protect ourselves from our own government should it become oppressive and to protect freedom. No, they're sending out literature saying, join the NRA, protect your right to hunt. So that ought to tell you how legitimate those people are. And remember, if you join the NRA, you have registered your guns. And if you're against gun registration, you better not do that. Oh, he goes on to say, you've really polished the show. Your character and nature shine right through. But you probably have pondered whether you should add more entertainment, more warning, or more raw data. Well, hell, cram it all in there. You're the best. Signed, Spencer. And he says he's graduating from college in 2 weeks. He says, what do you know? I'm educated. That's great, Spencer. Thank you. He also closed a good donation to keep this show going for the first 2 months on our new schedule. And thank you, Warren, for that contribution. This is from the New York Times. Shooting apparently accident. And the dateline is New York Times, Washington. But this was actually printed on 12/12/92, page A19 in the Kansas City Star. Here it is, folks. One day after French and American troops shot and killed 2 Somalis in the belief that the Somalis were trying to run a roadblock in Mogadishu, the Pentagon said Friday that the episode might have been an accident. According to the new account, the Somalis were riding in a van, not as the original version held, a truck. They were not armed with guns, though some knives were found in the vehicle after the incident. The Pentagon also acknowledged that the Somalis might not have tried to run the roadblock, but might have crashed into it when the van's brakes failed. And the Pentagon said it was possible that the Somalis were members of a family and not a fighting group. A teenage girl was among those riding in the van. The Pentagon also said that Marines joined the French in firing on the van, contrary to the original account. And you're going to see more of those incidents. And folks, it's not really anybody's fault. Those things happen in war when men are carrying guns. I know I fought in Vietnam, and unfortunately innocent people get killed. Most of those incidents are accidents. People scared with their fingers on the trigger, not wanting to die themselves. In many instances, fire when they should not. But when it's purposeful, it should be rooted out. And the perpetrators should, of course, be punished. Personally, I don't think we have any business in Somalia, and I believe that it is just another incident of establishing the power of the United Nations over sovereign nations. For this, like all the other things recently, is a first. It is the first time that the United States has intervened in a sovereign nation without being invited by any group or political party or government within that nation. So, once again, folks, another chink in the armor of sovereignty. In fact, the chink has grown so big that it's a huge hole now, and I would doubt very seriously if the concept of sovereign nations would stand in a court of law after all the recent happenings that have, well, tell you the truth, it's just done away with the concept of national sovereignty. The invasion of Panama, many other things, the intervention in the Middle East, the ruling by the Supreme Court that the United States could go and kidnap anybody in another country and bring them here for trial, all illegal, all unconstitutional, all against international concept of the sovereignty of nations and the law of the world. But if you go read the UN Charter, you'll find that none of that stands up there. And there are no protections for individual rights. There is no Bill of Rights. How do you like that? Well, we're getting toward the end of the show here, folks. So I'm going to read one more letter, and then we're going to talk about some things, and then we're going to say good night. Dear Mr. Locke, this was to WWCR. I'm addressing this letter to you in reference to the William Cooper radio show, Hour of the Time. I would like to address my pleasure with his show. I find that it is a very informative and creates one to think. I just happened to stumble upon one night, and since then have been turning the radio dial to his show. I hope that his radio program will continue to inform and educate. Thank you, Steve, from Hicksville, New York. Well, we'll do one more. I'm writing in full support of Bill Cooper's Hour of the Time. I and my whole family are regular listeners and believe Mr. Cooper's message to be one of the most important of the 20th century. He believes in God, country, and family and tells the truth as he sees it. His show is the only show I tune into on your station, but because of this one show, your station now has my full support. I'm a member of a civilian intelligence organization and the publisher-editor of my own newspaper. If Cooper's show is ever cut from your broadcast schedule, I nor any of my friends, family, or associates will ever support your station again. Please forgive my tone, but this is a serious matter. Thank you for carrying Bill's show, and God bless. Sincerely. And that's from Warren. Wow. Anyway, I'm going to go down back to a previous one back here where they criticized the Radio Free America. I listen to Tom Valentine and Radio Free America, and while I believe in many instances Tom Valentine is a little bit naive, I believe he's right on track and he is helping America become informed. So I suggest, just like always, that you listen to everyone, believe no one, unless you can substantiate it in your own research. Please do that. It's imperative that you not be fooled anymore by these people. Now we're going to ask you for your help. As you know, we are now on 5 nights a week, Monday through Friday, here on 7.435 kilohertz, WWCR Worldwide Shortwave, immediately following Tom Valentine. We can't afford this airtime, folks. You're going to have to help us pay for it for at least the first 2 months until we can get this show off the ground and make it self-supporting. My family is putting every penny we have into this, and we're selling most of our worldly possessions, and if necessary, I'll go out and dig ditches or do whatever I have to do to make this work. But we're asking for your help. Please get out your checkbooks now. Make it out to WWCR. Send as much as you possibly can. Send it to me, William Cooper, Post Office Box 3299, Camp Verde, Arizona 86322. That's Post Office Box 3299, Camp Verde, Arizona 86322. Please do that now. Send check or money order made out to WWCR only. Please do not send cash. We don't want any problems. We don't want anything to get lost. We don't want anybody accused of being dishonest. If you write and say you sent cash, we're not going to pay any attention to you because we just told you right now not to do it, okay? People do that. And some of them are getting away with murder, and because of my good nature, I usually let them do it. But I'm not going to do that anymore. Okay, folks? Please don't send cash. Send check or money order made out to WWCR only, not to me, not to anybody else. It's going to pay for airtime. We need 2 months advance airtime to make this show work. After that 2 months, we believe it'll be self-supporting. We'll have sponsors. We will not take a sponsor whose product we don't believe in or wouldn't recommend or use ourselves. In the meantime, until we get all the sponsors that we need, folks, and we have one, Backwoods Magazine is going to sponsor one show per month. We have another sponsor that wants to remain anonymous that is going to take one show per week. We have another one, the Pilot Connection, is going to take one show per week. That still leaves 3 shows every week that we either got to sponsor or pay for in some way. Now, when we were doing it just once a week, it was a big burden on this family, and we barely made it. But I believe that there's enough of you out there who want to see this happen that you will help support this show for the first 2 months. After that, we believe sincerely that it will be self-supporting and we won't have to do this again. Okay, I'm looking into some distributorships of some products that we presently use so that we can sell these things in the air. We'll have some books that we'll be able to pick up at some low prices and be able to offer on the air that we believe that everybody should read. From now on, if this works, and we believe that it will, we'll be coming to you immediately following Tom Valentine. We'll be on 1 hour each night, 5 nights a week. Please, folks, wish us luck. Say a little prayer for the hour of the time, and tune in. Until then, good night, and God bless each and every one of you.